Next 14 years educating myself about all these issues, and an earlier book that I had written that was for the titles of those books were Progress from Them, the Development of People, and then Development of the People, for the People, and by the People. That were mostly oriented, focused on development of India, because my motivation was to try to help India. But then we realized in 1992 that number of things. One is we had a global system, planetary system. Then we had a global economic system, and the extent to which you progressed within the global economic system was the extent to which you had a pecking order in this global economic system. So the way to progress was to improve your standing within the pecking order, and that's what Japan did after World War II. You know, that's what the Asian tigers did. They went from being at the periphery of the world economic system to closer to the core. The core is the one that appropriates all the profits. The periphery is the one that serves the core. And if you get somewhere in between. So India has been trying to climb up this ladder, but it's a global economic system. And India exists within that global economic system. India exists within that global climate system, you know. So everything, all of a sudden I realized that a lot of these problems are global and couldn't necessarily be solved only by India alone. And so basically I started reading and writing extensively. And in 2005 I published this book called Rethinking Progress Towards a Creative Transformation of Global Society. The first half of that book is all about the problems and issues not only with our planetary system, but also with our financial system, how the rich countries have really progressed, how the poor countries have maybe either moved up the ladder or further gone down the tube, and how all this process has taken place. And the second half of the book talks about the second half of the book, Rethinking Progress, talks about how we need to bring about a creative transformation of global society. We need to repair all of the big things we need to do are besides finding solutions to global warming and climate change. We need to completely repair all the global ecosystems that we are damaging. The forests, the coral reefs, the soil systems, the coastal ecosystems, all the ecosystems that we are in the process of destroying need to be rejuvenated, number one. And number two, we need to, so the life support systems, I call those the life support systems of the planet, need to be repaired. And then after that, we have to proceed towards transforming all of human activity. John Paul alluded to that. You talk about transportation, you talk about our entire energy system, you talk about agriculture, you talk about the heating and cooling of our buildings, the homes. Everything needs to be transformed to a low carbon aspect, and also something that rejuvenates life. I think the technologies that are going to become important are the ones that rejuvenate life, and the technologies, no matter how high tech they might be, if they are not rejuvenating life, will not be as important. So those are the things that and then basically I talk in the second part of all the international democratic institutions that we need in order to solve these problems. We talk about democracy from the local to the global level, what democracy really means rather than just the election democracy that we typically have. How does democracy become democracy that has breadth, depth, and range? How do you evaluate the quality of a democracy? And how do we need to change our political emphasis, our economic emphasis, our economic principles on which they are based? And then how do we proceed and bring these alternatives into the process? The most urgent problem, which will buy us some time to solve the other problems, is really if we can work on climate change, because that will give us the breathing room that we need. So this particular book is available to you if you're interested in reading it. I have copies of the book. So that's what that book is about. And then in order to try